Now Marshall once again, beautiful inside there to flank Bunce. Bunce, powerful and strong, but the South African defence just holding a drive by Dowd. Oh. Dowd has scored. That surely is the clincher. The pressure you felt had to tell. A simply marvellous try.
The All Blacks have played 6 tests so far this year, but I think it'd be fair to say the biggest, the best, the toughest to be saved till last.
Oh, certainly. South Africa on South African soil is what it's all about, I guess. And these guys are in for one hell of a battle tonight, so really looking forward to it.
So tremendous atmosphere here in this great stadium, where the first ever World Cup match was played in '95. And now let's see the reaction to the haka. A cheery fruit trader from Limerick in the west of Ireland is the referee today. David Thomas, Michael McHugh taking charge of his 5th major international match. New Zealand get the game started through Andrew Mertens on a very heavy pitch indeed, taken by Teichmann, and the first tackle in there by Michael Jones. You'll see that the pitch will cut up pretty badly. That goes back to Stransky. A loud blast from the referee getting in front, and the first penalty to South Africa. Now, I was just mentioning the state of the pitch. A fortnight ago, they played a game here with Western Province and Western Transvaal, and 4 inches of rain fell during it. And as James Small gets a big kick away but doesn't find his touch, Zinzanbroek with the return puts it straight out on the full, and he's looking at the pitch, and I'm quite sure that the effect on his non-kicking foot was what caused him there to put it indirect. You notice the foot went away. It's very soft indeed, very sandy, very heavy, and this is going to really be a test of endurance eventually. Mark Andrews, this great line-out man, standing there at number 2. Atherton is at 4. They switch about quite a bit. There's the big man Atherton, both of them from Natal, and they've a Natal hooker throwing in, and that's the kind of advantage they have, with the hooker throwing into his own line-out men. The drive up towards the New Zealand 22, and South Africa will want to use the power and the weight of those big forwards of theirs, and the mauling ability. But there, one of the South African forwards got himself detached. Marshall gets it out to Mertens. Mertens, a massive punt away downfield. Back there goes Peter Hendricks for it, gives it to James Small, and Small this time finds his touch. Zinzanbroek takes a quick long throw in out to Cullen. Cullen, a difficult pitch to sidestep on, and well tackled, 10 metres outside the New Zealand 22. Now it's won by Hurt to the prop forward. Lovely little kick there by Henny Leroux. Now, he's a bit of a playmaker, and you can see the idea he had there. Glenn Osborne back to save.
Well, the game started with enormous intensity, as we'd expected it would, but I was quite surprised to see Zinzanbroek kicking the ball the first time he got it, which makes me think that they're going to be playing for position in the early part of this game. But then I would imagine they'd be wanting to spread the Springbok team wide, because that's really where we're going to have an advantage against the Springbok side.
Certainly an advantage here for South Africa. That's the New Zealand goal line. Robin Brook at number 2, and he's opposite Mark Andrews. And once again, John Allen, who played 9 times for Scotland as hooker, but there's a magnificent throw by him, taken by Kruger at the back, but a loud blast. And it's a penalty to South Africa, and as close as that, Pienaar decides, I think, to have a kick at goal.
I was really battling to work out what that penalty was for. Bill, did you pick that up?
He made a motion as if a fellow was holding the ball in, but the referee's Irish, and the Irish tend to do it their own way. Western Province player Joel Stransky then. loud blast, first blood to South Africa and to Stransky.
And a psychological blow too. The first points of the game in the first match of what everybody in South Africa is calling a 4-test match series.
Ian Jones again. Bit of pushing in the line out. No advantage accrued to New Zealand. They've got a chance to tie the score. Sean Fitzpatrick, yes, indicating to the referee that they will kick for goal. Meanwhile, Andrew Mertens of Canterbury, of course, lucky to be playing with his Canterbury colleague at scrum half, Justin Marshall. And Mertens actually needs this goal for his 250 points. He's really got a remarkable average of about 17 in internationals. Mertens then stroking it well. The flags are up. And the little fella does it once again. Little, I say, 5 feet 10 and almost 13 stones. But he's tied it at 3 points all. And they've played about 10 minutes. Van der Westhuizen, he uses the blind side well, trying to get it inside to Allen. Now it's Van der Westhuizen again to Stransky. That's broken the cloud cover. It's a high one, but could have been a bit further forward from the South African point of view. The pick up and run there. Oh, Mulder, this big, powerful centre. Mulder going on there to Andrews. Andrews only about 4 metres short. A magnificent run by the lock forward. Now it's Van der Westhuizen to Stransky. Stransky, it could be a try for Mulder. That is a magnificent try. Out to the blue, and the big burly centre was in it twice. Well, Mulder, the scorer, his 4th try for South Africa in his 17th international. The flags are waving. 10 points to 3. They played 14 minutes, and it was a superb score.
So they'll be looking to make something of this move. You won't see them kicking from this scrum, Bill.
I wonder if I thought Mertens might go, but it's the pick-up move by Zinzanbroek into Kronfeld. Good tackle there by Pienaar. They've only about 12, 15 metres out. Marshall with a lovely ball to Fitzpatrick. He's tackled by Atherton. Marshall again to Mertens. Very nicely out there to Bunce, but very quickly up there was Stransky. Bunce, however, is so immensely powerful. That's a great run by him out of absolutely nothing at all. Marshall once again to Mertens. The chip kick through. It's so important for James Small, but he was tackled when he was in there. That should be a penalty. However, he called for the mark, but I must say that I think that he should have got the penalty.
But that was a tremendous little piece of controlled play, and it was a tactical kick by Mertens. A clever kick, just a little bit far for us to be able to contest in the air, really.
Marshall again to Mertens. That's a big one. Hendricks waits. He's a powerful fella. Very good chip kick by him. Beautifully taken by Marshall. You know, Murray, this Justin Marshall reminds me a bit of Gareth Edwards, the physique and the power on the run.
Well, that's a great compliment to Justin Marshall for so early in his career, Bill. I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Marshall home will be very pleased to hear that. Yes, we're looking at the line-outs.
So South Africa have cut again to 4 with a big gap. Andrews reckons he was played before he touched the ball. They took his legs out from underneath him. That's a penalty. And even in those ground conditions, it's kickable.
Well, this would be a big advantage to South Africa at 10 points to 3 kicking for goal. To 13 points to 3, a 10-point lead would be pretty crucial at this stage in the game.
Stransky then, he's high enough, it's far enough, but it's not straight enough. And it stays at 10 points to 3, and they've played about 25 minutes.
See, that was a counter-attack opportunity there for Wilson, because only 2 of the Springboks came up on that occasion. Whoa.
Mertens trying the quick one, looking to see if the referee would penalise for going over the 22. Mertens recovers it again. Taken this one again by Teichmann. Onto Small, the fullback. Van der Westhuizen onto Durand. Durand Os, they call him, which means ox. This is Van der Westhuizen again. The kick up towards the goal line. And I tell you, It was Marshall who got back there to save, and nobody's holding back in this game. Typical South Africa versus New Zealand. Now, of course, it will be South Africa's throw-in, and as you said earlier, Murray, this is a gold situation for them, really, isn't it, if they make a clean catch?
It's absolutely perfect, isn't it? I mean, 2 metres from the goal line. Obviously, it'll be going well. Maybe it won't be going to Andrews. I see Teichmann's moved to the front of the line out. Atherton in the middle.
Taken by Atherton.
Can the All Blacks weather the storm right on their goal line? That's the question.
Atherton has got it down, and the try is given. They've burrowed over. Andrews was in it as well. You can see the joy here. A second try for South Africa. Andrews may have got it, although his pal Atherton was there as well. But it certainly is a try for South Africa. 15-3, 26 minutes played. They're on the ascendant.
So it is a great lead, 15 points to 3, with a conversion to come.
Stransky then with the great railway stand there, and the Craven stand as well. Pushes it wide of the post, but it's a good, handsome lead there for the South Africans as we come up to about 12 minutes to go to half-time. But they haven't won that one. Ian Jones leaping like a spring salmon. Olo Brown going on. A lovely ball he's put back there. The pick-up by Craig Dowd. Both prop forwards in it. But he's been almost turned over by Atherton. This is Zinzan Brook going. Let it come, the referee shouts, and that's good preventive refereeing. This is Osborne, who's suddenly appeared on there to Kronfeld. They're inside the South African 22. There's a great chance here for New Zealand as Merton feeds out to Robin Brook. Cullen, a great chance here for Michael Jones. Michael Jones out to Cullen. Cullen, has he got it down? Desperate stuff. Francois Pienaar, the South African captain, was back there, and Kruger is taking a dim view of Frank Bunce holding on to him. But that was great New Zealand rugby.
It was the best rugby, wasn't it? A couple of mauls, or Rutcher, I say, a very quick ball and moved it to the unmarked man. It was Michael Jones who didn't quite have the wheels to outpace a winger of three-quarter, and rightfully so, as he's an open-side flanker. Turned blindside. But Christian Cullen making a good little crack at the goal line, but not quite making it. New Zealand lusting after that try. That try they haven't scored that's been so elusive in the last encounters against South Africa.
And this is Mertens with a chance to stretch his tally to, what, 254 points now for Mertens in just 15 internationals. 6 points to New Zealand, 15 to South Africa. 3 minutes to go to half-time. The whole of this stadium is boiling. The referee's whistle goes for half-time, and it's been a magnificent half. And in a sense, because South Africa have scored 2 tries through Mulder and Andrews, maybe they just deserve to be ahead, Murray.
They absolutely deserve to be ahead, no doubt about it. They scored 2 magnificent tries, not good tries, they were magnificent tries. And we must say their defence has been superb, because All Black attack, 3 or 4 of them we had, rapid attack, and they weren't able to score. Great Springbok defence.
So that's it, South Africa ahead 15-6 at half-time. And the sense of anticipation simply crackling round this great stadium here in Cape Town as the second half gets started. But one of the South Africans got offside, and New Zealand happily take the scrummage back at the middle. And so Francois Pienaar will be wanting to tell his players not to make that kind of mistake. That's assuming that it wasn't him who got offside in the first place.
Yeah, you don't know.
No,
you don't see that very often, Bill, do you, at international rugby?
That was the pick-up by Teichmann. Now it's out to Stransky. Stransky all the way through. A beautiful, dazzling run by the stand-off half, taken on by Van de Westhuizen. They're almost up to the New Zealand 22. The drive on there by Pienaar. A great South African effort. Van de Westhuizen now to Stransky, taken by Teichmann. Again, great New Zealand defence, but it's Hendricks coming across. Peter Hendricks. Big lad from the right wing. That's the 22. And a penalty for illegal handling in the ruck. Now, I know that in the southern hemisphere, that would be allowed. Can Stransky do it again for this 52,000 capacity crowd? A lot of New Zealanders in the crowd, by the way. but great encouragement for the home side. Stransky trying to stroke it, and he strokes it well enough. Joel Stransky, who's actually the vice-captain of South Africa today, so he would have taken over if Pienaar had to go. 2 penalties and a conversion for Stransky. It's 18-6. They played 6 minutes of the second half. Pienaar looks a bit troubled, but obviously won't want to leave at this stage of the proceedings. Again, Ian Jones leaping high to Robin Brook. Robin Brook caught there by Teichmann. The layback really needed to be quicker and more accurate. Marshall, however, he's a big, strong boy, tackled there by Pienaar, and Pienaar is hurt once again. Almost up to the South African 10 metres line. Marshall, this is Mertens. Mertens half through Henry Leroux, taken on by Jeremiah. Jeremiah, the replacement, getting into it. Now, what decision will be made by the New Zealand captain? Quite an obvious one. Kick the goal, he says. Would you have done that, Murray?
Well, I think you'd have to at 18 points to 6 down. The New Zealand side need 3 points.
This boy's record has been remarkable as well. I was saying that he's averaging almost 17 points in an international. Meanwhile, Mark Andrews is really concerned about his captain, Pienaar. And it's not surprising that, because he's been such a tremendous leader for South Africa, World Cup captain, and, well, in all of his 29 internationals, and they won't want to lose him just for his inspirational qualities. Meanwhile, Mertens, for his 3rd penalty, can he stroke it through? In fact, he's pulled it wide, and he'll be furious about that. That's the kind he kicks with his eyes shut. So a real chance missed there. James Small had thought of taking the quick one. Joel Stransky does, but he's given a good ball to Zinzanbroek. Beautifully out there to Marshall. Marshall running there into Atherton on the 22. The pick up and drive by Ian Jones. This is battering ram after battering ram. Michael Jones took it forward. They're still just inside the 22. But
well,
it's who gets the put in, that's the crucial thing, isn't it?
The crowd is going crazy, and justifiably so. What unbelievable defence from this Springbok side. Absolutely remarkable. Attack after attack after attack, and yet their defence held. I mean, All Black team would have to be saying, what do you do to score a try against this type of defence?
Well, never in all my experience have I seen such a continuous spell of action as that. And, you know, New Zealand had enough ball to have fashioned a try, Murray, but defensively, those South Africans are amazing. They've conceded only 14 tries in the last 13 matches. Yes. That's a tremendous average.
Well, Pienaar, of course, was KO'd in Wellington in '94. Well, I'm not sure if you realise that. I don't know whether he got a bang to the head here, but he's been knocked down in a couple of very heavy tackles, hasn't he? It's sort of obviously taken its toll, but I think it's more, I mean, is it physical or is it a blow to the head?
So a very sad sight indeed as Francois Pienaar leave and listen to this sympathetic acclaim for the South African captain. Joel Stransky, of course, will take over. He'll lead the side now. Meanwhile, the South Africans have moved Mark Andrews back to number 8, to the flank forward position. And, and it's a chance for Frank Bunce, and it's just beaten him. Bunce got the touch, got the charge down, and it would have been a score because it's not a knock-on from a charge down. But he was so unlucky that the ball beat him. Marshall caught once again by Hurter that time. Now it's out from Bunce to Mertens. Mertens has pace. Ian Jones caught there by, it looked like John Allen. That's the goal line. New Zealand so desperate for a score as Mertens feeds to Jeremiah. That's Osborne, caught there by Hendrick. And South African looked as if they may have pinched it, but they're handling on the floor in the ruck.
Yes, well, the crowd don't like it, and I was battling to see where the penalty was, actually, but we might be enlightened by a replay. But it was a great passage of play. It was desperation to retain possession by New Zealand, often trying to move it wide. Once again, a little mistake that lets them down. They've turned over a lot of ball on just little mistakes. Let's see if we can see it. Well, he's down on his knees and still playing the ball, yes. The referee once again was correct.
Yes, I think Mulder actually could have been penalised for not allowing him to release the ball, which the tackler must do nowadays. But a fair decision, that one. And young Mertens will want to put out of his mind the one he missed not just so long ago. 2 out of 3.
Well, 18 points to 9 would give them a sniff.
A bit of ill-mannered booing, which does no credit to the supporters, as Mertens gives the ideal riposte with that 3rd penalty goal. And so New Zealand are back into it, 18 points to 9. And I tell you, it's a long time since I saw an international match with such passion, played with such commitment, and with such incredible defence. And this now is the survival of the toughest and the fittest. Ian Jones, a marvellous one-handed effort by him.
Well, I think the referee ruling that South Africa were offside in the line-out is that...
Offside it was, and you can tell, you know, from the way those New Zealanders are going, that this game isn't finished by any means. Can he do it again? It looks very good. It sure is. Well, 4 penalty goals for the young fella from Canterbury.
It's a great kick under pressure. It's a great kick under pressure. I feel, though, that New Zealand need to score a try. They need to score a converted try.
6 points in it, but 12 minutes left. Robin Brook with a great jump. The drive by his brother. 2 Brook brothers playing together. I think it's what, for the 26th time in the same team together. Great effort by the Brook family. Now it's Marshall, and it's Mertens on the look. Oh, Cullen running. Cullen could well score a magnificent try. Cullen giving it outside there to Osborne.
Oh, what a try.
In between the posts. It's going to be a 7-pointer. Osborne with his 7th try for New Zealand in only his 11th international match, but made by the snaky run by Cullen. And the young New Zealanders up in the stand are overjoyed. It's 18-17, but a fairly simple kick to come. What a try. Mertens knocks the conversion through. 4 penalties and a conversion for him. New Zealand in the lead.
But it's not over with 9 minutes still remaining on the clock.
And Henny Leroux, the centre, inside centre, has gone into flanker, and they've withdrawn Ruben Kruger into the centre position. Now, this will be fascinating to see what this is for.
At this stage in the game, Kruger to smash upfield and set up the ruck, I'd say.
It looks like it. Kruger going, dumping into the 22. Jeremia seemed to get hands to it first. Van der Westhuizen goes a bit further. The danger of that is getting isolated.
Yes, he got driven back, but they still cleared the ball.
Switch from Mulder. This is the fullback Small, interception by Mertens. Durant in on the tackle. They're 10 metres inside the New Zealand 22. John Allen driving on. Closer and closer. Now it's Van der Westhuizen, Stransky, Henny Leroux.
Wow.
Now that is an offensive tackle if ever I saw one. A magnificent tackle. And as a result, New Zealand get the put into the scrimmage. But in fact, he's changed it to a penalty. And he's given it 10 metres further forward. Can you believe how daft can you get?
Well, this New Zealand team is showing an amazing amount of control and composure. To be down by the score they were down this game and to claw their way back into it, score a great try, and now the unbelievable intensity of defence. You called it an offensive tackle, and that's exactly what it was. They just drove him backwards and forced possession to be turned over.
4 minutes plus injury time to go. Wanting the big gap. John Allen, born in Glasgow, came to South Africa when he was 8, has played 9 times for Scotland. That's Marshall as Allen goes up on him.
Well, that's 2 against the throw.
Marshall, Mertens, Jeremia. Jeremia, lovely pass. Taken there by Jones. Now it's Marshall again. Mertens, beautiful ball this. This is Cullen. Cullen who causes alarm bells all the time. Mertens, this is Wilson. Wilson to Jeremia. That's the goal line. South African. The pick up and drive by Olo Brown. Now Marshall once again. Beautiful inside there to flank Bunce. Bunce powerful and strong, but the South African defence just holding a drive by Dowd. Dowd has scored. That surely is the clincher. The pressure you felt had to tell. A simply marvellous try. Constant pressure all the way. And Craig Dowd there thrilled. Only his second try for New Zealand.
24 points to 16.
Mertens has done it again. His second conversion, 4 penalty goals.
That was crucial because that's bigger than the 7-point gap now.
And they've only about a couple of minutes left. There it is, 39 minutes played, 26 points to 18. Yes, that was Henny Leroux trying to burst out of his own 22, but the New Zealanders seem to have pinched the ball. But in fact, handling on the floor, when you're on the ground, the referees believe that you're out of the game, really, and that you shouldn't play the ball there. Mertens then to seal it. Oh, straight as a die. 5 penalty goals, 2 conversion. New Zealand are virtually home and dry. 29 points to 18. That's been one of the most thrilling international matches that I've ever seen in all the time I've been doing commentary work. 29 points to 18 New Zealand lead. And they're the Tri-Nations champions, played 4, won 4.